to Living with Ulcerative Colitis. I'm Maya, and today we're going to do part 2 of navigating on-campus college life with an ostomy. I have 3 points, and then after those, I'm gonna let you guys go. In the first part 1, we talked about being on campus and making sure that you had enough food, talking with accessibility services or disability services, care of the ostomy, and how to manage stress. So for this episode, we're going to be talking about more in depth of those things. The first thing is making your teachers aware. When you go to your accessibility services or disability services, they will help you devise or revise a plan of how you, basically what help you need inside of a classroom. Sometimes for me, I requested that if I was sick, I was able to tell accessibility services and they could basically excuse me for that day. So I have a medically excused absence, which was great for me because that meant that I didn't have unexcused absences down the board. Also, when I was in high school, my accessibility or disability services in the high school allowed me to have a longer time to take tests because after my surgeries, I found that I was extremely exhausted and I couldn't focus on something for more than 30 minutes. And for most of you who have been in school know, most final end of the year tests are about 2 hours long, and I was allowed to take a 30-minute break. But lucky for me, by the time that the final of the year test came, I didn't need it, but the fact that it was there was a comfort for me because I could have needed it. And so what I mean by making teachers aware is you're going to have this disability plan. You're going to have this thing that says all the different things that you need to accommodate you. And your school, your college, your work, whatever, has to accommodate you. This isn't a choice that they make. This is by law, by the Disability Act of a bunch of numbers. They have to accommodate the things that you need. But I find that having a good discussion with your professors, instructors, teachers, or colleagues or boss about the different things that affect you. Like I told my teachers when I felt like I didn't feel well that I was going to be missing some school. I didn't have to send this email because accessibility services already did, but I felt that it was important for them to know who I was so that I kept this good communication going. Now, this is going to sound like a jump, but it is equally as important and as in-depth of the last part of the video. I talked about care and stress. These two things correlate with your ostomy making noises in class. It doesn't seem like they do, but if the care of your ostomy isn't sufficient or you're under a lot of stress, the bag will start making more noises. For a normal person, this would sound like your stomach is growling, but for a person with an ostomy, all of those noises come from the bag. Keeping care of the ostomy, changing it consistently, and lowering your stress help decrease the noises because some of those noises might be due because you're hungry, or some of them might be because the bag just randomly starts making sounds. I have not been able to pinpoint when they come or why they come. I just know that they do. And I found that it was really helpful to always carry a jacket or a hoodie, not because classrooms were cold, because they were sometimes, but because I could wrap up the jacket or the hoodie and I could press it against the ostomy, lightly, not hard because the bag will implode, but against the ostomy bag, and then it would help to be a buffer. You can still kind of hear it from the other side, but I made sure that the people around me, I told them that my stomach always growls and I'm always hungry. And then they associated all of those noises with my stomach, which is great for me because They didn't ask about bag, and I didn't have to explain myself to strangers. Um, so for me, I suggest the jacket remedy is what I thought of it in my head. Also, another way, if you don't like the jacket remedy, you can, every time the bag makes noise, you can eat snacks. Like, you'll know your ostomy to a point where you know what snacks the bag won't make any noise for and ones that it will. For me, I found that marshmallows were really helpful. I could eat a marshmallow and the bag would be quiet. It was like it was trying to figure out what the heck I just ate. And as it figured it out, it was silent. I also found that sucking on like a Jolly Rancher, just as long as food, like something kept coming down, the bag was busy. Snacking on pretzels helped. And I once snacked on Cheerios. The people around me asked why I was eating those, but I was like, it's helping me. Sate my hunger, but what was really helping me was mute the bag. And as long as there's food coming down, it's like it's working. And lastly, packing your dorm room with supplies. This seems like an obvious one, but it really isn't. You have to, I found that keeping a little journal or like a notepad helped me figure out the things that I needed in my dorm at all times. For me, of course, that was a certain amount of emergency bags. I kept the majority of my ostomy supplies at my mother's house because...
Where you are now.
Ignore her. Yeah. I kept the majority of my supplies there because I always thought, what if something happens and I get locked out of my room? She can bring me something. And that actually did happen, so
yes,
that wasn't
a
bad plan.
More than once.
That only happened once.
No, it happened twice.
Okay, well, she was able to bring me supplies, or
your dad bought it the second time.
Or when I ran out of supplies, instead of the ostomy supplies being sent to my dorm or my campus, they were sent to my mom, and she would bring them to me. I found that was really easier with insurance and everything, going to that address and not giving them multiple. Also, I found that having snacked goods, foods, you gotta be careful with that though, because I had a lot of crackers and a lot of cheese, but not a lot of water or any liquid of any kind. So
no, you didn't go.
I said meat. I said meat.
Yes.
I said meat. I didn't have these things.
Rushing.
I didn't have these things, and as a college student, you know that you sleep in, you're like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 8. 8 comes, and you're like, I'm gonna wake up at 8:15, and it keeps moving until the time of your class, and then you're running. So I would grab a sleeve of crackers and a bit of cheese, and I'll be off. And that is not a good snack. You need some form of liquid. You need a fruit, something that has moisture. And because I didn't, I ended up back in the hospital for a week. But yeah, that is a story unto itself. But having good snacks in the dorm can be really helpful because you don't have to waste a lot of energy walking to your dining hall or just making a whole meal. If you have snacks, you can pick them up and you can eat them as they come. And lastly, I found out that having loose fit clothing, like beyond the clothing that you already have, having clothing that can go over the bag, because for most people with an ostomy, you know that some days the bag just fills with air and you can empty it as many times as you want and it will keep filling with air. And it doesn't go away. It's not that much air, it's just like it usually is flat, and that day it stays like this. And this is how it's full, but it's like this. So if you put like a tight fitting shirt on it or a tight fitting dress, it will have a lump right on your stomach. So I found that having like baggy shirts or like a blazer, because it was like fall, that I could cover the bag in its entirety. So I found that to be helpful. So I had a lot of different things of those. So I said clothing, snacks, and your supplies. Having a safe place for them that you could easily accessible, or maybe keep them in your room, but keep some that are quick to grab, because another thing that most people with ostomies know that the bag can implode in the middle of the night and you wake up and you're like, I need to change this immediately. And if you have to dig through a drawer to retrieve a bag and the bag's already falling off, it's like this most high stress panic moment.
That's where organization comes in.
Thank you. Organization of the bags.
Which we did.
We as friends, she was not there.
No, we organized it before we left.
Oh yeah, my dad, he gave me the storage bin container, and I put the stuff that I least needed at the bottom, and then I stacked it as the way I needed it. So the stuff I least needed was, say, the deodorant patch. You only patch. I only put it in to the bag, but when I was doing an emergency, that thing is not a priority. So it was at the bottom. But I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions and you don't want to put it into the mass chat at the bottom, you can send us an email. Our email is attached at the bottom of the video in the
description box.
Yeah. And I hope you guys like this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and press the bell for notifications. And bye, guys.